Hello again. Okay, so the next video I'm going to be posting, this is basically an intro to a specific one for first responder inner struggle stuff. And I'm going to summarize it up in here is that my holistic background, so also being a life purpose coach and a mental readiness coach, right, specific to mindset and my background, so in holistic health and also self-defense. Being in the treatment room doing facials, basically you kind of get close with people and kind of almost become, a therapist. But in some senses, so I've combined that, my studies in human behavior, talking to a lot of people, all that stuff got my interest in that area, and then my own personal struggles. So first responders are just like the average person as well, having, kind of the same we all go through the same sorts of things, maybe just different environments, right? Work environment, personal environment. And so, yes, I do have solutions that I think that would actually work and or hope, to work for you. I just like to create I like to create baby steps for anybody, but especially first responders with the levels of stress that you go through. And I was realizing, and now it's October 2023, that a lot of the stuff I want to talk about for a long time, I don't actually need a guest to be able to talk about. I like to reference to you all and ask you, hey, give me the situation and I'll tell you what to do. Or have you been in this situation or whatever it's going on, dealing with your higher ups, dealing with yourself, trying to part of what I'm doing is to help you harmonize your life, not necessarily balance, right? Because when you try to balance and then one thing gets off, and it's just that's, I think, like a power struggle. And then some people that have constant spinning plates, like Mark Davidson and I talk about, firefighter from Virginia. So what I wanted to do in this one, which is just I want to intro what I'm going to talk about when it comes to betrayal, because the next episode I'm actually going to give the baby steps and coaching. And again, this is kind of try to minimize my excessive talking. So what I wanted to say, this one thing that I wanted to address, it's a common concern, again, first responder or not, but I wanted to bring it up because first of one of the issues I'd like to talk about specifically, because not only it's a common concern, it is something that somebody was going through. I think I talked to him about less than 6 months ago, and talking about basically taking leave for mental health issues and basically feeling like, your homeboy slash homegirls you thought, you had, nobody's around, who's left, right? Who's checking on you? No one. I think, yes, these are things that you could go to your peer counselor, support group, therapist, or whatever, but maybe they're not going to give you the type of information that I would give you, right? Because I am outside of your tribe. But I want to share with you just some things, some recommendations for you to try if, they work for you. I would like you to know about them. And it's kind of a different way of personal growth, which is what, in terms of that and how I work, what I recommend is through the holistic model. So it's not like you're just doing one thing, you're only journaling or you're only listening to music. And a lot of healing work, most healing work, I feel like takes time. I mean, you're definitely not going to get over something in one day, depending on what you're going through. And so betrayal is such a deep, intense, wounding. There's so many things that can wound, but definitely wound long term, because you walk away from these type of situations, like maybe not ever trusting anybody again, not getting close with anybody. And then if you already had trust issues, and then for me to sit here and say, well, you had to learn those lessons. I'm not, while that's a part of it, I'm not here to just throw out and some positive words and okay, you're good to go and logically. No, that's why I also say holistic model, because certain things actually have to be expelled by the body. I'm not saying in order for them to go away, but it's one of the things you can do. Okay. And I use a lot of recommendations from different cultures. So, for example, whether it's a music recommendation or binaural beats or hypnosis or lighting a candle, but all of these different things I'm going to recommend for, I'm sure there's 1 to 2 things off of that list that's going to work, is that being open to trying something different. And you will notice as you go, hey, I tried that, that worked. I'm not going to do that, whatever it is. Okay. There are things that I don't do very often or at all, like yoga. I only like yin sleeping yoga, doing nothing. So you'd think I would do that more. But so yeah, there are certain things that I will just not do, but there are very just simple. I consider them simple things that can work, and just the power of presentation. I'm sorry, presentation. The power of your intention and wanting to resolve these things is all that it takes. There's plenty of people that stay stuck in their ways, don't want to heal, don't even give a care. Who cares? I'll stay how I am and not have any relationships with anybody and stay blocked off. And it's better. It makes me feel safe. I get all of that. I think the relatability with the dark side and dark thoughts I have had before and still kind of have negative sorts of thinking patterns, but um, you know, I don't want to say cannot let myself live like that, but I find my way out of it. And so that's what I wanted to say in this video. Okay, betrayal. You feel alone, you feel you can't trust anybody, especially with something as serious as a mental health concern. People could be making up all kinds of shit about you, gossiping, not being supportive. And it is 2023 and mental health has been a concern. I don't know the past 5 years what's been going on with firefighters, specifically law enforcement, but as the public finds out more about the increasing suicides, I think there'll be even more awareness. So there's more awareness surrounding, right? You've heard the word stigma before, and you definitely do not have to have a mental illness to want to kill yourself or anything like that, and to even have that thought in your mind. So there are a lot of things in life, especially when you realize, the afterlife, depending on what you believe, it's going to be a more peaceful place. Sometimes that is more appealing to some people. And what I will say with that is that I thought it was really profound. Somebody actually posted on Facebook a couple months back. I think he was a veteran, had PTSD, and he actually posted like his final letter, which I just thought, to put in the media was wild, but really it was profound because he basically was saying he's tried all of these different things. He hasn't been able to sleep for months. So I said veteran PTSD. I think he was military, not first responder. And he thanked all his family and all that sort of stuff, but he couldn't sleep for months. I said that. Couldn't sleep for months, tried these things that weren't working, and he was exhausted. And his way of cutting out in this life was his way to rest. So at least with that being said, it gives people always want to know what the reason is or whatever, and everybody has their own reason. And some people are conscious, right? So he was conscious, he was trying to rest. But I think even for his family, it was probably a good thing for them to at least hear, so they weren't just left not knowing. I think that's one of the hardest parts too, that affects our ability to heal ourselves. And that's for another show, talking about the advantages of healing and what is that and how you can feel afterwards. So the betrayal show, I'm going to go over some action steps and that you can move forward, and we are not meant to stay in these states of mind, this negativity and this bitterness and everything. And I know it sounds like a good idea, that it can be a good idea, but it also closes off so many doors of love and sharing love with each other and experiencing it in this life, which I think is beautiful. Okay, so be looking out for that video, and I will talk to you soon more about all of these other things that I've talked about or that I want to talk about, dealing with, I don't like to call them higher ups, but we'll just say, dealing with management. bosses, dealing with being embarrassed and offended. And that's why I have that free series on building worth, because it kind of goes in there and explains being able to stand on your own 2 feet and not having those fears to do that, what it means to be spiritual. Just a lot of either if it's fear based thinking, I would say, or worth, right? Things that address our worth and our value. I have a whole long list of things, and this can be applied to professional and personal life, and especially one of those things too that I would love to talk about love and or our relationships, romantic in our culture, which can be a beautiful thing, but getting married or we'll just say getting married legally and that whole scene with the living with somebody is not for everybody. And I think that the high stress types of profile jobs do not cater to necessarily, I don't want to say it doesn't cater to a family life. It's just you have to know what you're getting into, the two people. And then that's another can of worms because the cultural model of what that all includes, which healthy distance is um, a really great thing. And I know I didn't see it growing up. And so, which was the opposite from the friend story of the whole attaching to your significant. So I will see you in the next video. And again, and I hope all these shows provide value for you, but any sorts of comments or things or issues that you'd like to ask me about, feel free. Otherwise, I'm just going to go and run with it and talk about everything that I am able to talk about in any facet of your life and um, go from there. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.